Right now, I want to bring in Reverend William Barber. He's coming to us from Raleigh, and he's the president of the North Carolina NAACP and a major figure in those protests Wednesday at the state legislature. Reverend, thanks for joining us. So I wanted to just first establish we have the, in all likelihood right now, the voter ID bill is going to be passed by the other chamber and signed by the governor. This has happened in other states, and there are various restrictions on voting in each of these bills. Can you just outline what exactly are the restrictions on voting that are in this bill?
Well, good morning, Steve, and thank you so much. You know, when you really look at this, however, it's a context you have to put it in. What we are seeing in North Carolina is a extreme, ideological, mean-spirited, Tea Party-backed attack on people in this state. It is almost as though they want to be known as the George Wallaces of the 21st century. It is kind of like the white Southern strategy being revisited with a 21st century twist. They started out at the beginning of the legislative season, they cut 500,000 people from Medicaid with affordable health care. They decided not to take it. 165,000 people they cut out of unemployment. And now they're attacking voting rights. They've also decided that they want to go after labor rights. They want to put impediments in the Constitution for labor rights. They cut 900,000 working people's earned income taxes, effectively raising taxes on the poor so they could give a tax cut to 23 wealthy families. Now they're going after voting rights. And the voter ID that they have passed in the House is more restrictive than South Carolina and Alabama. They will not allow people with impediments to still be able to vote as South Carolina does. They've denied private school IDs as a form of ID in this state. So schools like Bennett or Wake Forest or Duke University students or Shaw students would be denied. It's 89,000 private school students in this state. It's voter suppression. It's poll tax disguised as voter ID. This same legislature, Steve, last year the most race-based redistricting plan that we've seen since the 19th century, and they're planning to roll back same-day registration. They're planning to cut Sunday voting. They're saying that if you're a felon and you've paid your debt to society, you have to wait 5 years, and then after that, you have to apply to the local election board to get your rights back. So we are seeing an extreme attack, a race-based, class-based attack, because this crowd is afraid of a brand new electorate that's happening in the South. The soul of the solid South is coming apart. The demographics are saying that, and they are afraid of this new electorate, this new America. They know they can't win with the broad electorate, so now what they're trying to do is create structures of public policies that will hurt minorities and African Americans and the poor, and they're trying to put impediments in the way of a broad electorate. Will not allow it to stand. Well,
yeah, so you say you will not allow it, and I've seen reports that you are maybe planning some sort of civil disobedience campaign, maybe this coming week. Can you tell us if you have anything planned there?
Well, we have a two-pronged strategy. You know, when to deal with this kind of right-wing Southern strategy, you have to have a ground-up approach. So we have great groups like the Southern Coalition leading our legal piece, and now we have Advancement Project. You have Anita Earls with Southern and Penda Hare and Judith Brown with Advancement, and we're putting together a powerful legal strategy because we believe all of this is unconstitutional, both at the state constitutional level and the federal. But you also have to have, with a legal strategy, a strong grassroots movement. Look, we have an organization here, the NAACP, 100 branches. We have 147 members of our coalition called the People's Coalition, and we're tonight meeting at the United Church of Christ, Pilgrim United Church of Christ in Durham, to call this state to prayer, to protest, and to nonviolent civil disobedience. And tomorrow, between the hours of 3 and 6, there will be an action of clergy and students who will engage in a form of praying, a protest. We will not allow them to do this in the dark. We will not allow them to do this without the whole world and the whole country seeing what they are doing. And saying to our friends from around the country, if you really want to change the nation, you've got to change the South. If you can help us on the ground, help us, because we're raising we've drawn a line in the sand. They have crossed the moral line and crossed the constitutional line, and we are going to continue to protest both in the streets and in the courts, because what happens in these southern states has a dramatic impact on what happens in the nation.
Reverend, very quickly, because we're going to be up against a break here, but if this bill ends up being implemented anyway, signed by the governor, are you prepared for a legal challenge?
We are more than definitely. That is why I said a two-pronged strategy. We have a legal strategy and we have an organizing strategy. We believe that this bill that they have passed violates Section 1 of the North Carolina Constitution, Section 6 of the Constitution. It says the legislature can't even do what they're doing in terms of determining who can vote. We believe it violates the 24th Amendment. It creates a poll tax. We believe it's fundamentally against the 15th Amendment of the Constitution. Really, Steve, finally, we have to understand what's going on. I think that the broad electorate that brought President Obama into office, and even in 2008 gave him North Carolina, scares everything out of people who want a homogeneous electorate. They know we are in the middle of a kind of a third Reconstruction. They see fusion politics, blacks and whites and labor and faith and young people coming together, LGBT, like never before. They know they can't win in that context, so they want to rig the election, but we're not going to allow it. We're going to fight it with everything we have from the ground up. Change North Carolina, change the South, and we're going to change the nation.
All right, Reverend William Barber of the North Carolina NAACP, thank you for joining us. I want to find out how North Carolina became a Republican hegemony after this.